and I spit on the guy's boot. The one guy that said I was going to be his boy. And I swung on him. As soon as he looked down, I swung on him.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Alright everybody, you can tell by the title what this is about. And the reason why is somebody asked me, when you went to prison, nothing ever happened to you? You know, when you first got there, you wasn't pressed or anything? Well, yeah, I was. I mean, I think everybody was when they're new, especially if they're young. So, I might tell two stories, but the first one is going to be the main one. And I had only been at MSP a little while, and my cellie worked in the housing unit, and he, you know, he cleaned and swept and everything. So one morning, right when they called the yard, he tells me, he said, man, don't go to the yard yet, wait till I get done. I'm only going to be a little bit, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes at the most. I didn't listen. I went out to the yard. Now there's two yards. There's a lower yard and upper yard. And the lower yards, they got softball field and everything down there. But mostly whites hang out down there. Blacks go down there too. And when there's a softball game, everybody's down there. But the upper yard has a gym, and you'll see whites up there too. But it's mostly blacks. What you don't want to happen is like a young white dude to go to the upper yard by himself. Well, that's what I did. And I was over by, they had this like little pavilion like thing and had weights and stuff. But I was on this curb a little ways from there, right on the backside of Two House. F&G Hall, they also called it back in the old days. These two guys approached me, and to this day, I really don't know what their angle was. One was saying I was going to be their boy. The other was saying I was going to, any money I got coming in from my people, I was going to give it to them. So I don't know if they was trying to extort me, they was trying to make me their boy, or if it was both. I don't know. Now I realized when I first got to prison, I was scared. I ain't going to lie to you, I was scared. And I was nervous now when these guys approached me. Two big muscle-bound guys trying to press you, yeah. You know, 17, well, barely 18-year-old. I just turned 18, I think. But I said, no, that's not going to happen. They said, oh, it's going to happen. We're just going to put a whooping on you. They said it in a little bit more vulgar term, you know. But I had a chew of tobacco. I chewed once in a while back then. And I spit on the guy's boot. The one guy that said I was going to be his boy. And I swung on him. As soon as he looked down, I swung on him. Exactly what I did. And I promptly got my ass whooped. Bad. But as they was leaving, you know, sometimes you just got to know when to shut up. As I was leaving, I started calling them names. Punks. Things like that. They came back and put the boots to me. I was already on the ground laying there. Just starting to get back, trying to get back up. And they put the boots to me. And then they leave. And then they was calling me all kinds of names. But they got these water things out there. It's like the old-fashioned time where you lift the handle. You see them on farms and things a lot. But I got up and I was trying to make it to one of those. And some white guys that came up from the upper yard, I guess they heard about what was going on. And they was trying to get through that little, they had a little waist-high gate they was trying to get through. And I think they was being blocked when all this was happening. Well, they finally get over to me, and they get me over there, and they wash me up, and they said, damn, dude, you never come up here by yourself, man. Never. Especially, you know, you. Somebody young like that. You know, man, you're lucky this happened out here and not inside somewhere. So I start heading back to the housing unit and I meet my cellie. He's just shaking his head. And he said, man, I don't think you're going to make it in the housing unit, but you got to go in sometime or another. And here's some sunglasses. He goes, maybe, he kind of chuckled. He said, maybe you can get by. Maybe you won't get noticed. Who knows? He said, try to go in with a crowd. I got noticed. And it was almost like they knew it had happened and was waiting on me. It was a white shirt and a lieutenant. It was a sergeant and a lieutenant. Both of them were white shirts. And they said, take your sunglasses off. And I take them off. They said, who did this to you? I said, nobody. They said, man, don't tell us that, man. You know, you just got beat to hell. He said, what happened to you? I said, I got hit with a basketball. They said, the lieutenant said, what is that basketball, white or black? He had this little smart ass smile on his face. Anyway, they take me over to medical. Medical doesn't do anything for me. He'll be all right in a few days. So they take me to this little room off the side from medical, and they question me again. They show me pictures this time. And I said, man, everybody looks the same. And that's true. All the whites look the same to me. All the blacks look the same to me. All the whites look like kind of like bikers. Most of them had long hairs and a beard. There was a few of them that didn't have no hair, but most of them did. And so they threw me in the hole. What gets me is my conduct violation said I was a victim of an assault. Nowhere in the rule books can you find that is you break the rules by being a victim of an assault. I still don't understand that one. But anyway, I gotta get out of the hole, and these old heads that kind of took me under my wing, my cellie was part of them. They said, man, you should have never went up there by yourself. You know, you're young and everything. They said, but here's the main thing. And I want everybody here to listen to this too. Because, God forbid you end up in prison, but if you do, maybe this will help you. They said, you came in and you walked around scared. You was young. You know, we understand you being scared. But that fear attracts these predators, these wolves around here. And they can see it in you. And so they thought that you'd be easy to intimidate. But, you know, you took the ass whooping. He said, if you'd walked in here and showed no fear, you know, they couldn't tell you was afraid or anything, and walk confidently, like you've been here before. Walk around like you've been here. This wasn't your first rodeo. Probably nothing would have happened. So, kind of keep that in mind, you know. Anyway, the other story I think I'm going to wait and tell in another video. But it was messed up too. And it was only because of my own ignorance and something I said and set a guy off. And I thought I was saying something that, you know, was a common knowledge. You know, I didn't know it had another name. Anyway, if you guys want to hear that story, let me know in the comments and I'll tell it to you. If you don't, if I get, you know, a few comments saying they want to hear it, one or two comments, I'll tell the story. But anyway, that's all I got for you, and I thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.